Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. This is your club preview for the upcoming match against Motherwell in the Scottish Premier League tomorrow. We are live on YouTube this evening, and we hope that everyone gets involved in the comments, and any questions, obviously file them in there and the guys will answer them as quickly and efficiently as they can. Before we move on and introduce the guys, I am Ryan Haymarsh, your host this evening. I think it's only right that we kind of touch on a tweet that came out from the club just over an hour ago. It's quite rather sad news about a legend of ours. Rangers tweeted just over an hour ago that they can confirm our legendary goalkeeper, Andy Gorham, is undergoing treatment for cancer in a local hospital. Club officials are in contact with Andy and his family, and the family have asked for privacy at this time. Everyone at Rangers wishes the goalie well at this difficult time, and everyone here at Club at 22 echoes what the club have said there. We wish Andy Gorham all the best, and our thoughts are with his family, and he will beat this, there is no doubt about it. So, let's move on to introducing the guys. They don't need any introduction, but let's just tick the box anyway. Ali Pearson, how are you this evening, mate?
Not too bad. I'd like to say to Andy Gorham as well, hopefully he gets well soon. We've had the pleasure of meeting him down Page Road a few times. Carney beat him at pool, which he always hangs on to. But no, same as you. Hopefully he gets well. But yeah, in terms of me, it's Friday, obviously. Rangers are playing tomorrow on a Saturday, which is a rare event. So, and it's 12 o'clock, which gives me the fear because I'll be drinking, no doubt, and the boxing's on later. So I'm looking forward to Saturday. I
thought you'd maybe be having a wee day in the house, Harley, no?
No. You know me on a Saturday. I can't behave myself.
Good man. And Scotia, Emo as well. How are you?
Yeah, I mean, I was doing pretty well today, and then that news about the goalie came through, and it kind of just puts you in a wee bit of a downer. So yeah, just echo what you said and just send my thoughts to the Gorham family, and hope he pulls through it. It's not a nice disease, as we all know, I'm sure.
No, totally, and we've already lost a legend, so it's not Andy Gorham's time. That's for sure. Scott Carney, the podfather, how are you this evening, mate?
Yes, I am good, mate. Same as I say, but I'd never really like to start the podcast in such a kind of sad note. However, as I say, he is getting treatment, so we've got to take it for that, and hopefully he comes through and battles it. We'll try our hardest to raise the spirits back up again. It's never easy to move on from something like that, mate. Your words are echoed by all of us, that is for sure, and I'll raise the mood right now. Robert Smith, you were the guy I was talking to outside the pub. Yes, thank you, mate. I did think, I was like, I think it was Robert, but I didn't want to come out and just say that. So yes, mate, pleasure to speak to you. That was great, and I'm so glad you've come back because that was kind of doing my head in. So yes, let's get into it, mate.
Yeah, let's get into it indeed. And Robert, thanks for putting that comment there. I'll just take the glory away from him. He had no idea what your name was. He's just trying to sound good there.
No idea at all.
Gentlemen, we are here to discuss the Motherwell game tomorrow and preview the Motherwell game. Usually we would start with a few different subjects, but I want to start with the press conference today. Never my favourite, but I think it raised a few subjects that I'd like to cover. So Van Bronckhorst did his manager's press conference today. He was asked about an update on the squad, and I mean, I thought this was bad news. I thought this was a wee bit of bad news for us, but obviously the news about Gorham puts things into perspective. He said that we have two injuries. Aaron Ramsey, no shock there for me. And unfortunately, I think is a bigger injury for us is Kemar Roof. They are both out until around the Leipzig game, the home tie, which I thought was concerning because I don't think he was actually putting that as a return date. I think he was covering himself when he said that. He was asked about other players and using the squad. He said other players do have to step up now because of the absence of Kemar Roof and Aaron Ramsey. And he was also asked about VAR. Obviously, we covered VAR vastly in the last podcast, so we won't go into that too much today. But he was asked his thoughts on that. He said he's a big fan of VAR and he thinks it will help the referees. The players' press conference day was Borna Barisic. I thought Borna really looked as bold as I do during the press conferences because he really struggles with them. But he did say that thanks to God, that was his words, thanks to God that VAR is coming in. So he is obviously a fan as well. And he also said he's glad to be back in the squad. And I've criticised Borna a bit since that performance at Parkhead. I think Borna Barisic deserves to be back in the squad. He's clearly hungry and has picked up a bit of form as well. So just a couple of things on the press conference today. If anyone wants to anything else in the press conference want to discuss, then put it in the comments. But I thought that the big question was on Alex Lowry. It's been a subject that's came about, whether these are rumours or pie in the sky stuff, but he has not signed a contract. He has a number of players are running down their contract. Connor Goldson, as we already know, Balogun this year as well, and John McLaughlin. Next year, you're looking at Kent, Aribo as well, and Alec Lowry. Alec Lowry, for me, is a huge talent. He shows a lot of potential, but Gio did say that we are in talks with him. He didn't say anything about the Premier League rumours, but he did say that we are in talks with Alex Lowry and he sees him as an excellent prospect for us going forward. Probably my first question, and I'll put it to you, Ali, is Alec Lowry has made 4 appearances for Rangers. Yes, he has potential, but do you think Alec Lowry maybe wants away? Is he maybe looking like Billy Gilmour and thinking to himself, if I'm not playing here every week and the Premier League's making noises, then why do I not go down there?
Potentially. He'll probably look at folk like you say, Billy Gilmour, the boys Celtic lost Doak, I think he was named, that went to Liverpool recently, a similar scenario on that side of the city. He's going to get life-changing money if he goes to Newcastle. We won't be able to compete with what he gets. I mean, Newcastle will change his life, probably change his family's life as well. But I'm disappointed because what's the point of the youth setup? Because we've lost boys, Billy Gilmour, before he signed a contract when obviously Patterson played for us and we've sold him on. But these boys, I mean, he is a Rangers man. I mean, he said he's a Rangers man. To me, he stays with Rangers for a couple of seasons, gets games under his belt, and then he can move on to these teams. Because you could go to Newcastle and just get lost down there. And you don't want to see that to a talent like him. Billy Gilmour's in that kind of situation at the moment at Chelsea, where he's out on loan at Norwich and he's going to be punting loan next season potentially. So it's disappointing, but I'd love to see, and whether they could do it or not, probably not, some sort of rule that comes in that these big teams in England just can't come up here and take our best talent, because it makes a mock of our youth system where we want to see these boys play for Rangers.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's something if we keep losing talent to England for the prices that we're losing them to. I mean, if you think Billy Gilmour went for 1 million, yes, we got good money for Nathan Patterson, but money's no object down south. And if the board are listening to agreeing in principle about big money offers, then they're going to let these boys go, and we're not going to see the best of them. Scotia, I've read a few things on Twitter, and I don't know, I shouldn't take them literally because you know what Rangers Twitter is like. Ross Wilson's been getting in the neck a wee bit about not tying Lowry down, but is this more about people saying just offer Lowry the money that he wants? Is this more than money? Is this possibly more to do with the boy thinking he's not going to get the football that he wants here, and he thinks he'll get it down south?
Yeah, right, let's go with this. I think Ross Wilson's getting it in the neck for the Lowry one a wee bit too much at the minute, because I was listening to the preview, and give a shout out to the preview that the Heart and Hand podcast do. I was listening to that earlier today, and Alex Staff, who hosts that, made 2 points, one that I knew and one that I didn't. The one that I knew was that ever since Brexit, English clubs can't sign anyone between the ages of 16 and 18 from European Union nations. So now all the 16 and 18-year-olds that they'll look for will be the other UK nations, so Northern Ireland, Scotland and Wales. So they'll become sniffing about up here. So I knew that. The one I didn't know, and I had a wee look into this, is that in Scotland, players that are under the age of 18 can only sign a two-year deal. So Alex Lowry signed a 2-year contract on the 8th of June 2021, and his birthday is when he turned 18 was June the 23rd. So that was just at the start of last season that he signed that 2-year deal. So since he's turned 18, we've had 10 months that we could have been looking at and getting the contract extension. And I remember back around January time that there were talks about this extension or providing that extension to him. So I think we have been in talks. I don't think you can really blame Rangers here. It's kind of out of their hands because the way the rules work. I know Ali there was mentioning Billy Gilmour. I think the Billy Gilmour situation was really different because he was under 16 at that time. So he was signing his first professional contract. So there was a bit of difference there. But I think in terms of the way that I've seen on Twitter that Ross Wilson's getting it in the neck a bit for the Lowry one, I think it's maybe a wee bit over the top. But that's probably on top of all the ones you also kind of mentioned there in terms of running out their contracts this season or next season. That's the one. Those are the ones that bugged me because I was looking at these sort of players that are out of contract for the next couple of windows, and I think of them, Jack McCrory and Morelos are really the only ones coming up to their end of their contract that have been offered an extension. Obviously, you've got Tav and Kamara sitting in there as well, but their contracts aren't up until 24. But you've got players like Goldson, Kent and Aribo, who obviously Goldson looks like by the end of this season he'll be away, and then Kent and Aribo. These are the ones that are really probably should have get sold in the summer there, because now we're in the situation where they are going to go for peanuts. That's the one that bugs me rather than the Lowry.
Yeah, no, same. I think you make a good point about Wilson. If this contract negotiation has been going on since January, then that for me doesn't look good. I think Wilson has been getting in the neck a bit. I think a lot of that is connected to our signings in January. Obviously, they've not worked out well. Our recruitment hasn't worked out well, but I find it hilarious when people criticise Wilson because hindsight is such a wonderful thing. I mean, we literally had a podcast because Aaron Ramsey signed. That's where all our heads were at, and we were making a song up for Diallo. So hindsight is a wonderful thing, and I think Ross Wilson gets a bit unfair treatment, but I do think he has work to do in terms of tying our big players down, like Aribo and Kent, because I would hate to see, especially Aribo, Aribo go down south for cheap because it wouldn't sit well with me at all. Just you relax yourself there, Ali, just in case you think he's going away. Lowry, we'll stick on Lowry, Carney. I'm trying to play devil's advocate with this because...
No, you were right the first time, mate. Advocate.
I will play devil's advocate then. With Lowry, I want to... Yeah, it's simple to say, right, get the boys signed up. But I do think there might be an element of this Billy Gilmour thing coming in, and he's maybe asked the club, am I playing next year? And it's, no, you're not a first teamer. You might be in the squad, but you're not guaranteed first team football. And if he's going to get 40, 50 grand or something down at wherever he goes down in Premier League. Is it maybe a case of, I think Billy Gilmour, not as a safety net, that maybe not the right term, but Billy Gilmour knows if he doesn't make it down there, he'll walk back into Rangers. He can come here anytime, and I wonder if Lowry looks at that and thinks, do you know what, I'll just take a chance down in England. If it doesn't work out, I can come back.
I think there's a lot of things at play here, mate. I really do. I don't think it's quite as simple as he's not being loyal to the club, or he doesn't want to play for Rangers, or he wants to go for the money. There is so many things that you have to consider when coming up with this. There's no doubt, Jamie, hello, good evening. Jamie's just made the point that he has the ability in abundance. He does. We have made some good purchases of young players near the end of their contracts in England. Aribo for a compensation payment was a snip. So it's the way the world of football works, unfortunately. Look, it's difficult, man, because we can't compete, and unfortunately, I don't see it ever changing, which probably raises more questions than answers. But it's Scottish football. It's the league we play in. Rangers is everything to us. It's not for everyone. It's not the same for everyone, even if they're a professional football player. And who knows what we would do in that situation. I think we would all love to sit and think to ourselves, if Rangers were offering me 10 grand a week, but Man City were offering me 60 grand a week, that you're going to sit and take the 10 grand just because you're a Rangers fan. I think we would all like to believe that we would stick with Rangers, but you can't say that for sure. even if Lowry does sign, I think Rangers they've obviously not done enough. If it's been going on as long as it has been, then no, it doesn't look good, and he's maybe thinking about considering these options. However, he could also kind of hold the club to not ransom's probably the wrong word, but almost keep the club on kind of tenterhooks a wee bit by seeing how much he's going to be involved in the start of the next season. And if he flourishes and he's playing and he's brilliant, he'll go to the club and the club will give him what they want, and he'll get a contract. I think no matter what, I don't think Lowry's here for the long term. I think we've seen it with Nathan Patterson now. Nathan Patterson went, we all thought he was going to be the future captain of Rangers. It didn't happen, 16 million and he's gone. And I mean, he didn't do very much down in England when he got there. Arguably he didn't get the chance, and yeah, he's now injured. So, I mean, I think Lowry will probably stick around for another. I don't think he's going anywhere soon. But Rangers are very much in a catch-22 right now. If an offer comes in and Lowry doesn't sign by summer, the club might be left with no option but to sell him. So it's a difficult one. I would love to see him stay. Of course I would, because I think the boy is outstanding. Especially we went to the Celtic, the Old Firm B team game, and he's levels above that standard. I mean, absolute levels. He is ready. So yeah, it's whether it's enough for him. It's whether enough if the club are offering is enough for him. But I don't hold my breath that we'll see. I don't think we'll see Alex Lowry in the long term, and I mean past next season or maybe the following season after that at a push. Somebody will come in with an offer that we cannot say no to, and that's just the nature of Scottish football, and I don't think it will ever change.
Yeah, and I just wonder if that offer that we can't say no to is going to be this summer. I think the club have to. It's easy to criticise Ross Wilson and the club for not tying the boy down, but I think the club have got to consider if he's got 1 year left and he's not agreeing a contract, then he has got to go. You've got to move him on because you don't want to lose him for free. It's going to be an interesting one. Alex Lowry is, without a doubt, it looks like the future of Rangers. However, I do think it is a bit strange that Van Bronckhorst hasn't overly utilised him. He's not really used him much. So yeah, it's one for keeping an eye on. But I just wanted to discuss that because I think Rangers Twitter always has things very black and white, and it's not always the case. So the next thing I wanted to discuss was our upcoming fixtures. We have some mouth-watering fixtures coming up due to the week that we had. Maybe not mouth-watering tomorrow in Motherwell, but it depends where you put it in your priorities. And I say priorities because Van Bronckhorst for me needs to prioritise our chances of a trophy, and that for me are probably our best chance for a trophy is the Scottish Cup. Secondly, the Europa League. Thirdly, the Premier League. And I know a lot of people won't want to hear that, but I do think that's the order of us achieving a trophy this year. Looking at the fixtures we have Motherwell away tomorrow, then we've got Leipzig on Thursday, then we've got the Scum on the Sunday, and then we've got Leipzig at home on the Thursday, and then Dundee United at home after that. What I want to ask you, and I'll come to you, Scotia, is I'm concerned about this squad burning out because they've put so much in, and it has been great. The past week's been great, but there comes to a point where Bassey won't be able to make that run. John Lundstrom won't be able to empty the tank because they will fatigue. Do you think Van Bronckhorst needs to now look at games like tomorrow? And it sounds crazy because it's a Premier League game, games like Motherwell and maybe even the Celtic game, and start utilising his squad and prioritising for these games coming up?
Oh, it's a tough question. I'm kind of on the fence with it in terms of where do you go, because I've always got the feeling in the back of the mind that if you start rotating players when you've got big games coming up and games that you're still in, you kind of lose the kind of the cohesion of the team. And you don't want to do it. And to be honest as well, I think the next 2 weeks until after the Celtic, the Leipzig game, the next Leipzig game after that, I think we'll know whether or not he will start doing it. But then you've only got 2 games, and you've only got 2 games, and then the 2 Hearts games at the end of the season after that. So I'm kind of in the fence at the minute with it. I'd probably still go with my strongest team and just make small rotations. Because if you look through the squad at the minute, there's midfield's really the only place that you can make a huge amount of rotations. There's not much you can do in defence. Obviously, the goalie could get rotated. obviously we're getting nothing. There's that cat again. Get nothing
She's
up
fucking
front, so it's really only the midfield.
Loves the camera. She loves the camera.
Absolutely, mate.
Yeah. No, but there's not much that you can rotate, I don't think. And I think that up until the league's mathematically impossible, we shouldn't be going into games with half-weekend teams and things like that, in my opinion. I think we still need to be going for it as if the league was alive. At least the players do, and the management team do. Although we can all sit here and sort of know that it's not going to happen. So, yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about what he should do up in the upcoming kind of league games that we've got.
That's fine. No, that's fine. I was looking for. I'll be honest. I was looking for a more solid answer for you, Scotia. I thought you'd be on my camp, but no, that's fine. Carney, I'll come to you then. So, I said I think a couple of pods ago I would play King, Lowry. I would play these young boys in the league. For me, the league's gone. I know the good feeling from last weekend is still there, and I totally get it. And I heard a couple of people walking out of Hampden on Sunday, talking like we can still win this league. We can put pressure. We can put pressure. Well, thank you, Jamie Lowe. This is this disclaimer.
So you inside joke.
No cats were harmed in this podcast. Cutlery is not welcome at all. I digress. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Sorry.
I would use the likes of Lowry. I would use King. I would use Sands, because I think Thursday night is so huge. It's absolutely huge. I know we're going to do a podcast for it probably on Tuesday, but it's huge for me. And I just think in terms of this game tomorrow, I think we've got to start looking at utilising the squad. I'm concerned about a few players burning out. I've just mentioned them to Scotia. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think tomorrow we'll need to look at resting players tomorrow? That's what I'm getting at.
It has been almost a week since the efforts of the last two games, but it's difficult because there is the outside of chances that we could win this league. Literally, I think it's going to be very interesting to see the result. However, I think I put that into my head thinking that there's a possibility of something and they'll probably win about 8-0. So, I would love to see King play again. I would love to see Lowry start, especially. I think we have to. If we're trying to convince the guy to stay here, then we need to try and play him. I don't think there's really any doubt. And I mean, even players like Sikowski, he's disappeared. I don't know, nobody knows where he's went. Do you know what I mean? He's disappeared. He wasn't even on the bench, I don't think, the last couple of games. So would I do it? Yes. Do I think he will? That's a different question, I suppose. No, I don't think he will. I don't think he'll. I think he'll still see it as we're fighting on all fronts, and until it's mathematically impossible, I don't think we'll see any form of rotation, of an opportunity for the youth even. Yeah, but players like Sands possibly coming in to maybe give Jack a bit of a rest, a further rest, so he's up and ready for Thursday. I will agree that Thursday night is more important than tomorrow for me. Tomorrow is hopefully a routine win, and then we just kind of roll on to Thursday. That's all I'm really expecting of tomorrow, because I don't think any of us really on this podcast believe that Rangers are going to win the league. So, yeah, I would love to see him do it, mate. I would even look at playing McCrory in goal, giving him a chance, see what he's like for the run into the rest of the season. Because I think we're all agreed that McGregor's probably hanging his gloves up at the end of this season. So players like that, it's a nice thought to have, mate. Whether he will or he won't is another question. But if it was me, I would definitely do it.
Yes, I'm the same. I would utilise the squad to the maximum. I think I probably contradict myself, because the last pod we did, I said I think momentum's more important than anything else. But I think just taking into consideration the 2 extra times that we've played, I think he needs to look at utilising it. Do love that comment there from Duncan. Never give up, my friend. It's happened before. I do love that. For those of you who know my dad, he is putting money on Ross County on Sunday. No idea, but he fancies him. In fair play, see fans that still have the belief. Good on you. I can't put myself through the heartbreak. I think it's gone. I think we are the ones who have let it go. And but yeah, that's another conversation. Ali, I want to ask you as well about this. the two players that I think about are Bassey and Lundstram. For me, Lundstram was dead in his feet with half an hour to go on Sunday. He was still trying to play football, but you could see he was running on empty, and no wonder, because he put a monumentous shift in on both games. Calvin Bassey obviously did his burst up the left-hand side and then ran into the crowd. So I just think that it's not just the physical aspect, it's the emotional side of it as well. It takes a lot out of the players, and I think eventually that does catch up. Tomorrow, you're picking the team tomorrow, Ali, not the team that you've got written in front of you that we're going to discuss in a wee while. If you're picking the team tomorrow, do you utilise the full squad? Do you think about Thursday and start saying to him, like a Lundstram, sit out today, you'll be there on Thursday?
Yeah, I would. Yes, I think we've got a good enough squad to beat Motherwell. If we can't put a weakened team, if you want to call it, if we make changes, we should have enough to beat Motherwell. Let's be honest about it. Motherwell have sneaked into the top six. They shouldn't be in the top six. So I would make changes. I think he will make changes tomorrow as well. I know Scotia says he might make a couple of subtle ones, but I think we could see a potential different midfield, because we can do it in the midfield. Guys you've mentioned there, Lundstram, Bassey, I think they'll sit out. Ryan Jack, I think, will sit out. Obviously up top, we'll come on to that later. But yeah, I would make changes. I'm the same with you. I think the Scottish Cup, yeah, we can win the Scottish Cup. Europa League, very outside chance. Leipzig are a very good team. I think a lot of folk are kind of glossed over Leipzig because we've beaten Dortmund, and you don't do that. They're a very good team. And yeah, the league for me, the league's done. The only thing I would say in the league is, it's kind of like Carney a wee bit. There's a very, very small glimmer. If we do win tomorrow, and we should win tomorrow regardless who we put out, it does put a slight bit of pressure on them going up to Dingwall. But
don't, Ali.
I know, I'm just saying. No, it does. But let me come on to it. But do I expect them to drop points up at Dingwall? No, I don't. I expect them to go up there and win 3-4-0 convincingly. So to me, the league is done. But it does put that wee bit of pressure on them, which you want to be doing. But yes, your question for tomorrow, yes, I would rotate the team, because it's the third. It's the least one out of all the competitions we're in we can win.
Yeah, I know it is, and it is painful saying it, and I know that'll be painful for you saying that the league's gone. I do think it. I hate myself for saying it, and I love the optimism in the comments, because yeah, if we win tomorrow, unbelievably, the pressure is on them a wee bit. But I do expect them. I think they'll have enough just to go over the line, and whether it's going to be on Sunday or not, but we've got to win our game first. There's no doubt about that. For what it's worth, I would have Lundstram wrapped in cotton wool for Thursday. He can have anything he wants. Just sit there, wrapped in cotton wool, and enjoy yourself. And I'd do the same with Bassey as well. If we can afford to bring in a centre half, then I would have Barisic at left back, and I'd have Bassey just resting. I know he's a young lad, but we've all seen it. The efforts the both of them have put in the past two games it's absolutely unreal. So yes, I think he's got to look at utilising the squad. And as you say, Ali, see Motherwell, we should be beating Motherwell. But I'm not saying a second string, but Sands, these players should come in and be able to do the business against the likes of Motherwell. So I think it's a perfect game for us to rest players going into a huge game on Thursday. So yeah, ideal. The next thing I want to discuss is the Motherwell game, which is tomorrow. It's 12 o'clock, I believe it is, on Sky Sports. Motherwell kindly agreed to move the game to the Saturday, just to give Rangers an extra day to prepare for the away trip to Leipzig. Motherwell, as Carney said, are sixth in the league, and God knows how they made it there. But to give them slight credit, they have taken 4 points off us at Ibrox this season. Don't know how that happened. The last time we played them was 2 each. And if you remember rightly, that game at Ibrox was 2 each. The Celtic dropped points that day, earlier on in the day, and we had a chance to cut the gap to 1 point, I think it was, and we were up 2-0. Was that the game we were up 2-0? Aye,
2-0
we
first
hibsed
half,
it. We
yeah.
basically hibsed it, yeah. So that was a nice painful day. So that things like that stick in my teeth. I think we should be looking to give them a down because we also did that last time. I think it was 6-1 or something like that. We won it for part of the last time. Anyway, Motherwell, the last game they drew 2 each with Livingston away, and the game before that for Park they won 4-2. So they've got goals about them, but I think their goal difference is like -12 or -15 or something like that. So I think we've got to look at scoring goals tomorrow. I think we should attack. That one's for you, Mr. Lowe. And I think we've got to go for it. Ali, I'll stick with you. Motherwell have taken 4 points, as I said, at Ibrox this season. Is that us shooting ourselves? Is that all our doing, or are they a bogey team for us?
No, it's all our undoing. You can throw Aberdeen into their camp with Motherwell as well. Same thing. You look at the games. Christ, see when we do our end of season review, we'll look back at some of these games and go, "What the hell are we doing? The points we've shipped. We've drawn too many games." You look at the league. We've lost the same amount of games as Celtics. The draws that have killed us. That's what killed us this season. I don't think they're a bogey team. Like I don't think Aberdeen are a bogey team. I just think we've shot ourselves in the foot. And I'm the same as you. I think we're due to give Motherwell one. I think we are. I know we have. When we were last at Fir Park, the man for Zambia came and scored a hat-trick, and I think he'll be playing through the middle tomorrow because of what's happened today. So, no, I don't think they are a bogey team. I think it's been all on us this season. But like I say, you could throw Aberdeen and a couple of other teams into that equation as well. But I wouldn't say they're a bogey team, no.
It annoys me when you're always going to drop points at Ibrox. It's very rare that we do what we did last season, win every home game, but it sticks in my teeth that 4 points we have dropped against a team like Motherwell. It's nothing short of criminal, if I'm being honest, and especially to be up 2-0 that day. That was a sore one. Carney, 12 goals. Motherwell have lost to the Old Firm at Fir Park this season. But as I said, they've taken 2 draws at Ibrox, and I think there was quite a narrow victory for that lot when they played them. Motherwell obviously have something they do. I think it's a physicality that they've got. They've obviously got something. Do you look at this tomorrow in fear? I know we're just talking leagues by, but now we're desperate to win tomorrow. Do you look at this game tomorrow and feel that we can drop points again, or do you think this is all about Rangers?
Of course, we want to win every game. We're Rangers fans, mate. We expect to win every game, no matter who we're playing. It would be the most Rangers thing to do, mate, after the last 2 performances to drop points against Motherwell. It really would be the most Rangers of Rangers things. And it might put us out of misery, to be honest, as this kind of thing gets prolonged on. I don't know if you're going to address the injuries, are you? Can I talk about the injuries just now?
Go for the injuries, mate. Go for it.
So, Kamar Roof out is massive. I mean, it is massive for Rangers.
Are you shocked though, Carney?
No, you're right, mate. And what you said earlier on, mate, about it is that we couldn't rely on him, mate. I'm not taking your point. You said it earlier on in the group chat, mate, that you can't rely on Kamar Roof to do that for the rest of the season. But it's massive for us with the lack of Alfredo, the lack of Roof, and then obviously it leaves us with Sakala only. I'll probably get slated for this. I don't think Sakala will be here very long. I don't think he's good enough. Yes, he's full of effort, he's full of drive, but there hasn't been that much improvement really in him. His end product 9 times out of 10 is terrible. In my opinion, it is terrible. So I don't see him being the long-term answer to it. So I don't know what Gio does tomorrow. I honestly don't. I think what we are all thinking, and even from the team that I've picked, it probably won't be that. I would like to think he might do something a bit different to try and somehow find out where the goals are coming from, because they've really been coming through Roof and Morelos. And I mean, Sakala has scored a few. Has Sakala scored any really crucial goals this season? Contemporaries know off the top of your head?
Well, Motherwell, you could say, when he scored the hat-trick when we were 1-0
I
down.
suppose.
So.
Yeah, that's a suppose.
Because he took us one up. He took us to 2-1 just before half time, didn't he?
Yeah,
He scored the win on Sunday as well.
Well, aye, it's a major part in it, but like, I just don't know. I just don't know about Sakala. But I think it's probably not Sakala. It's now the lack of option that we have when it's not working with Sakala that I'm going, what do we do here? Genuinely, it's going to be interesting to see. I just seen a stat though on Rangers Twitter earlier. Rangers injuries this season, right? Hollander, 32 games missed. Balogun, 9 games missed. Jack, 29 games missed. Davis, 11 games missed. Offerbar, obviously, he's got a heart condition. He's been out for the entire season. Hadji, 25 games missed. Kent, 10 games. Morelos, 5 games. And Roof, 4 games missed, plus his current injury. And obviously, Morelos is obviously with the rest of the season to come from that. That is, I mean, Hadji, Kent, Morelos, Roof, that is your main front. Like that's your attacking line right there, and obviously now Aaron Ramsey as well is going to be added into the mix of this. The man that seems to be made of, I don't know, paper mache, I think, which isn't ideal. So my concern is, where are the goals going to come from? I do think Rangers have got enough to get over the line against Motherwell. They are hammer throws though, like truly hammer throws. They're up there with the worst of them. So that is a wee bit concerning. So it might be ball on the ground and a bit of pace. And that's probably reflected in my attack team.
Fair. I think there's something about Motherwell that they are hammer throwers, but see the goals they scored at Ibrox, they're totally criminal. They're like almost carbon copies, a few of them, that they just run through goals and Tavernier, and I don't know what it was. We really did crumble, and it's been a trait of ours defensively all season, and to do it against a team like Motherwell, pretty much criminal. Scotia, what are you expecting tomorrow? As Carney says, great shout there. They are hammer throwers, but there's no getting away the fact of taking points off this season. So what are you expecting from the game tomorrow?
Yeah, no, I was looking, since they returned from the winter break, they've only won 1 game in the league. They're on 6 and lost 6, and one of those draws, unfortunately, was to us. And Carney, am I correct? Was that not the one where you done a kind of wee vlog inside the stadium?
Oh, it was.
At half time.
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was.
Forget that.
Thank you, Scotia. That's a good way to start my weekend off, mate. Giving me that to think about. Superb, mate. Brilliant.
Yeah, so both the games we played against them at Ibrox were really similar, and I think that Lowry scored twice in those games to get them the draw in the second half, and we were just poor, both of them. And yeah, like I say, Motherwell just squeaked, and you said it as well there, Ryan, at the very start when we were discussing this, that Motherwell just squeaked in to the top 6 because I think they scored the equaliser against, was it Livingston they were playing in the last game before the split, I think.
Yeah,
they scored a minute or so to go. So they just sneaked in. They've got the joint third worst defensive or goals against in the league, and only Ross County, Dundee are worse than them, and they're sitting there with St Mirren. So that kind of tells you where they are in terms of goals against them. The only thing I would caveat with Motherwell is, obviously now that Hearts are confirmed as getting the UEFA spot, the cup with them. Europa. going for a bit mix of the two there. Because they're confirmed for that, you've got 3 teams playing for 2 spots in Europe, and they're only separated by 1 point at the moment. So it maybe gives them a wee bit of added boost, a wee bit of feeling behind it to go into the game and actually, get some points and make sure that they secure one of those spots, and to the disadvantage of one of the others. So yeah, I've got that in the back of my mind, but at the same time, I'm sure we're more than good enough, even if we play a slightly rotated squad like you mentioned. We're more than good enough to go out and do it. So hopefully we can.
Yeah, hopefully indeed. And if that does materialise, that Europa trophy, and that does become a trophy, I'm sure Celtic will be able to get themselves knocked out of that as well. before I go on to your teams and your score lines, guys, I wasn't going to do this, but we'll just go rogue on it and have a wee discussion about it, and hopefully people in the comments get involved as well. Aaron Ramsey got taken off, injured on Sunday. It gave a huge lift to the stinky end at Hampden on Sunday, and I'll be honest, I'll put my cards on the table right now. For me, it's a no-go. For me, it's a handshake. We tried. I just don't see any deal or I can't see any common sense where we can persist with this guy at the moment. We have got good midfielders. I keep banging the drum about our midfield, but I do think Jack, Lundstrom, Stephen Davis, who is the Rolls Royce just now, and a shoe in that midfield. We've got a Rebo who can drop in there. We've got Arfield. I think for me, it's cut ties and stop trying Aaron Ramsey and stop Wednesday back. This Wednesday going to be fit? Blah blah blah. I just think I think the ship sailed, and I don't want to see him in the Rangers jersey next year. I just think it's been a poor sign. I don't want to see him in a Rangers jersey, and I'll come to you, Carney. I don't want to see him in a Rangers jersey because I don't want to be like Juventus are, and Juventus are desperate to get him off their books, and I would hate to see Rangers being in that position last year. I've no harm to Aaron Ramsey, but I just don't think it's going to work out. What are your thoughts?
I don't think that was ever an option, mate. I don't think he was ever going to stay. I think that was a wee bit blue tinted romanticism by Rangers fans. He's not going to stay here. It's too physical for him. He's blatantly not up to it. He's not up to footballing ability, yes. Physically and fitness-wise, no. I don't think he will survive. I just don't think he would survive another year. It would probably finish him if he stayed in Scotland another year. Look, there's no doubt that Aaron Ramsey is a top-class player. I don't think nobody would take that away from him. Some of his passes, some of his reinventive flicks that we've seen have been great. However, have they been enough for Rangers to justify trying to keep a hold of them, or is it just all about the name? And I think that's what it would all come down to for most Rangers fans. I'm with you, mate. It's a no from me. Thanks very much. That was great while it lasted. That was a wee buzz that we all needed during the winter transfer window. We all needed a wee lift, and we got it through Aaron Ramsey. But I'll put my cards on the table right now, mate. I think the next time we'll see him will be the Scottish Cup final, where he'll come on for a cameo. I don't think we'll see Aaron Ramsey for the rest of the season. Mr. Negativity tonight, man. Honestly, what I like.
I think it's just got to be. I just think it's the elephant in the room for me. I do think it's the elephant in the room. I think it's got to be discussed. These things happen. Sometimes things don't work out, and I've just seen Stuart Henderson's comment there. There is no doubt. I totally agree. Aaron Ramsey's a class player, and you've seen it in the Old Firm game. You can see him in flashes. He's got some lovely touches, but we're a club we can't be a club who are sitting waiting for him to get up to speed, which he is not. And now he's broken down again. I just don't see it. Listen, it's not going to be a successful signing. There's no doubt about that for me. Ali, what do you think? What's your thoughts on Ramsey? Would you say Aaron Ramsey had a charitable side to him, and he said, "Listen, I'm happy to please you pay. I couldn't get out there. Please you pay." If he was happy to enter a contract like that next season, would you be interested in him staying?
No, because to me we should be building a team, because we're going to have to be gutting a team this summer. So we want guys in to be for going into the future, basically. So as good as Aaron Ramsey is, it's a no for me. I put him in the same category, and I know he's not our player, but Kemar Roofe, Hollander. I love Kemar Roofe and I love Hollander. I think they're great players, but we don't need players that we can't rely on. They're going to break down on us constantly. So I put him in the same camp as them for in the summer, because Roofe and Hollander as well, I would move on in the summer if we can. But Aaron Ramsey, in flashes, he's looked really good. Is he any better than what we've got there at the moment? I don't think so, to be honest. And again, he broke down at the weekend. Me and Carney had a laugh saying we'll never see him again. And he's come out today and went, he might be available in a couple of weeks' time. So he's kind of playing with us a wee bit. But it's a no for me. I'm sorry. and I know Scotia's answer too, because he doesn't like Welsh people, so it'll be a no for him as well. But let's be honest, Aaron Ramsey is here to get fit and to hopefully play in the World Cup with Wales when they knock Scotland out. So it's a no from me. I'm sorry.
Okay, I wonder if we're going to get a full house here, but as Ali says, Aaron
Welsh
Ramsey
hater.
as
the
Welsh, so
Never living it down.
I don't know what it's Welsh for. Strap in, all you Welsh supporters, but Scotia. Aaron Ramsey. What would you like to see? Ideally, would you like to see him stay, or does he walk the plank? I'm only joking. Does he just leave Rangers?
Well, to be honest, I'm like Carney. Even if he didn't have his injury issues, I couldn't see any way it was going to happen in any case, because you would need to get him to take a massive pay cut. And when's he's not contracted to Juve until the end of next season. So Juve would probably be owed Juve would be owed a fee, and they would be wanting massive amounts of money for him. So it was never going to happen again unless it was another loan. Even then, I didn't see it was going to happen. To be honest, I was like Ali there, that I expected the news to be this week that the contract or the loan contract between us, Ramsey and Juve, had been terminated and he'd get sent back to them. I didn't expect Gio to come out today and say, "Oh no, he might be fit for the Leipzig home game." I think that was maybe more just to give some people a wee bit of confidence, given that Ruth was out as well. So no, it's a full house. I don't see it happening. It's not worked out. He was coming on to a wee bit of a game, but like we've mentioned in the after-match pods that we've done and things like that, he was getting to match fitness, but he still just wasn't there. And now this injury's set him back. So if he comes back for the Leipzig game or after the Leipzig game, he's potentially will only have 4 or 5 more games to play, and 2 of them would be the Scottish Cup final, and if we make it UEFA Cup final.
Mm-hmm. And maybe get a wee cameo in the UEFA Cup final. Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, Ryan.
It'd be good if yeah.
So what I'm going to say as well is, if he is going to be out for a couple of weeks, and say a player like Lowry comes in, hits the ground running, gets a few assists, gets a few goals, you're then going to turn around and tell him when Aaron Ramsey's a wee bit fit, "Oh, Lowry, son, you're going to need to sit on the bench because Ramsey's feeling better." You can't do that because Ramsey's blatantly not going to be here. So that's why I say I think the ship has sailed now. As soon as he went off, and me and Ali are fucking always Mr. Negative. That's him. He's away. Both of us. We're never going to see him again. Waste of time. But for his contribution, yes, he's done it in spells. He's scored a couple of goals and whatever, and his footballing brain's been great. And he's probably been brilliant for the players in the squad to kind of learn from and play alongside them. I mean, it must be pretty good for some of the players to play alongside him. But no, you can't now. He's now out. He's not going to stay here. That's it. It's the end of the story. He's the one that we definitely 100% know is leaving at the end of the season. So, it's sorry. Thank you, Mr. Ramsey. That was nice while it lasted, but no, I'm afraid that's probably it.
That's it. Yeah, it's one of these ones. Just no harm to him. It's just not worked out for us, and he'll be gutted as well because I think he would have wanted to leave an impression here, and he has not. So yeah, we move on. And we can use our EBT to get Haaland in the summer anyway, so that's my thought. Right, gents, we are here to obviously discuss the Motherwell game tomorrow. We have done that, but let's get round to teams and scores. Ali Pearson, let me hear your much changed team. I'm expecting crazy things here.
Diallo's in.
Diallo's in goal.
I was just going to say, strap yourselves in, but Ahmed Diallo does not make my team. So that shows where he is and where he's going to be with the new Man United manager coming in, God knows. But that's another story. But no.
Sorry, I did say that Ramsey's the one we definitely knows going. He is another one that is definitely going at the end of the season.
Yeah. No, I'm going to go. I'm like McGregor will come back in. I was toying about McLaughlin, but Saturday, Thursday, there's a bit of rest there. I wouldn't expect, hopefully, McGregor doesn't have much to do tomorrow. So Shagger back in, Tav right back, Goldson as ever, Balogun centre half, Barisic at left back. My midfield, I'm going to go back 2-3 years, and it's going to be Steve Davis, Glenn Kamara, and Scott Arfield in there. God. Ryan Kent. Yep, there you go. I tell you to strap in, Carney. Ryan Kent, the man for Zambia through the middle, and Joe Aribo on the right-hand side. That is my team.
Interesting. Not too different to mine. What's your score and your first goal scorer, mate?
It's going to be 3-1 Rangers. And I'm not going to say Ryan Kent, Carney, because I say that all the time. The man for Zambia is going to score. There we go. And you know Ryan Kent will score now.
Aye, that's it. And will Diallo get what? Will Diallo get one coming off the bench then?
He might come off the bench, Diallo. It depends how the game's going. If it's the same as St Mirren and we're coasting the game, Diallo will come on the park. There we go.
I think one thing you can guarantee about Diallo is he'll be celebrating with the fans if they win anyway. He fair enjoyed himself on Sunday. Did his John Terry bit on Sunday, didn't he? Scotia, what would you say? Give me your team score line and your first goal scorer, please.
Yeah, so for the goalie, the one McLaughlin I was thinking about, but I think he was brought in as the cup keeper. I don't think it was any kind of it worked out as a good tactical mastermind stroke by Gio, right enough, but I think it was because he was the cup keeper. So I think it'll be McGregor. And this will show you what we were talking about with squad rotation when you hear my team actually listen to this. Defensive Tav, Goldson, Bassey and Barisic. Midfield of Jack and Davis, I think. And then Aribo, Kent, Sakala, and then Alex Lowry playing in there as well. And the reason I'm playing Lowry is because obviously the news that Roof's out, a lot of those players can't really score and shoot for, or they can score, but a lot of the shots that they take from outside the box aren't great, whereas Lowry's got that. So I think that would work well if we had someone like Lowry playing. And I would probably as well, not in the team, but on the bench, have Weston and Ross McCausland on the bench. I think they're decent options.
Yeah, I watched them during the week. Was it this week? It was this week, the B game, wasn't it?
Glasgow Cup game.
Yeah, I watched them during the week, and McCann and McCausland really impressed me. I thought they were very mature. They had a very good performance. I would like to see these boys, as I've said, in the next couple of league games, get them played, get their experience under the belt. They are hopefully the future of Rangers. Who did you say your first goal scorer was, Scotia? Sorry.
I didn't give you a score. Score even 3-1 to Rangers as well, because McGregor's in goals. We're going to concede from a corner, and it'll probably be Willery that'll score it again. 3-1 first goal scorer for us. If he starts, Alex Lowry.
Oh, I'd like that. I think I'm just reading a comment to Andy Hills about McLaughlin. Is key to us winning trophies this year. His distribution cross balls is so much better. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I totally agree. And it's so hard to say, but he is for cross balls and his distribution. Yeah, I totally agree. It's a great point, Andy. Carney, what about you? How many changes are you making? What's your team score and first goal scorer, please?
This team's kind of half what I'd like to see of some players that I'd like to see, and half of what I think Gio will do. I completely agree with Scotia. I would love to give Gio the credit for having a masterclass with putting McLaughlin in goal, but he's just got a fluke there because he's a cup goalkeeper and it worked. But I think it shows why I think we would rather have the confidence. We would have more confidence even in McLaughlin being in goal for games like tomorrow against Motherwell, where there's going to be a lot of pump balls into our box. But that's what I mean. But this is kind of both, because I do think he'll play McGregor. Do you know what I mean? We say all that all the time, and then I do think he'll start McGregor again. So for me, McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson. I'd love to see King, but I think he'll play Balogun, Barisic, Davis, Kamara, Lowry, Kent, Wright and Sakala. Front four, attack. And since I have slated Fashion Sakala on here, not slated, but maybe put him down a wee bit, he'll score a hat-trick and we'll win 3-0.
I'm glad that doesn't. I get the whack on. You better send me videos in the morning.
Don't you worry.
I'll be looking forward to them. But I'm glad that doesn't just happen with me, Carney, when you slate a player that they turn up and stick it right up, because I ripped Tavernier a new one the other week there, and he turns in a performance like that against Braga and at the weekend as well. So yes, I'm glad that's not just me that happens to. Brilliant, gentlemen. I'll give you my team just before we go. McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Balogun, Barisic. My midfield is Kamara. My man crush, Johnny Lundstrom, is dropped. It's Davis and Jack. And I'm playing right Sakala Aribo. I think Ryan Kent is one of these players who's put a lot in as well. A lot of effort in. I think he needs rested. I'm going 3-1 Rangers and Fashion Sakala to score first. Waka waka. Gentlemen, anything else to discuss? Or is that us this evening?
I've got one.
Go on.
Go for it.
Will Cedric Itten be pulled out that black hole he's in and be put in the bench?
Bloody hope not. See, the thing is, right, how fair is that on him? Because he's blatantly not fancied, right? So the management team, coaching team don't fancy him. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But everybody's injured. That said, fancy sticking your strap on.
And he scores against Motherwell as well.
Motherwell.
Sitting on the bench. Well, I think either him or Weston has to be on the bench tomorrow. So either has to be him or Weston.
Harvey, that's shocking saying that to your dad, by the way.
Oh, honestly.
That's where you guy. You're just having a nice night and everybody's enjoying themselves. Then you get a cheeky little boy in the comments. But don't worry about that. I am just about to go through and shave his top lip because he is starting to get a Souness moustache. Nice one, Harvey. Itten for me, I don't think Itten's even. I wonder if he's still training with us. That's what I wonder. I can't remember the last time I seen him, guys. Really don't. Has he been in the squad lately?
Think so, no.
No, the last time he played was the semi-final of the Glasgow Top Cup for the B team. He was playing that against.
So
You're drinking on a Scotch, aren't you? You started
my
drinking.
addiction's all over the place tonight.
Right, guys, that we will leave it there. Thanks to everyone in the comments. That was most enjoyable. Hope we have a great weekend. Boys, I'm a glass half empty kind of guy. But yes, Rangers can unbelievably win tomorrow and put the pressure on them. I can't believe I'm saying that, but they can put the pressure on them and make it an interesting Sunday. But let's hope they do. Before we go, can everyone please like, share and subscribe to the pod? Makes a big difference for us. Like I've said umpteen times, really enjoy the community that we've built there and we have some great laughs on this podcast. And we are growing. We've got things coming up, I think, next week, Karen. I think I might be right in saying that. I think we've got something coming up next week.
You can happily announce that if you want, mate. On you go.
That's what I'll leave it with you when I say it. Oh, no. Should I announce it?
Yes, go for it, Ryan. Come on.
Oh, the pressure's horrible and then it doesn't happen. And Ryan said that. We are doing another live at the Viceroy. It's all to do with just getting a pint. There's no other interest in it. We just want a pint, guys. So if you can get the coffees bought so we can get a pint for Scotia. No, we are doing a live. We're doing a pod at the Viceroy on Tuesday, I believe. We're recording it. Yep. So really looking forward to that because we get great feedback from everyone, and it went down well.
Should be with you later on than usually. Club Deck Corner. It should be later on Tuesday. It won't be live. I don't think we'd be able to do it. I don't think the internet connection would hold up. So I don't want to do that. And then halfway through we have a disaster. So we might look into that one day, but it'll just be a recorded trope from the Viceroy again. But yeah, no, we love doing that, and I think we're all buzzing for it. And we'll be, no matter what, we'll be building up the kind of hype towards the Leipzig game, no matter what happens this weekend. So yeah, really looking forward to that.
Yeah, can't wait. So I hope everyone gets tunes in for that next week. I will say goodbye to the guys and thank you. Ali Pearson, thank you for tonight.
No problem. I'll enjoy a wee Saturday kick-off. 12 o'clock's a bit of an early one for us, especially when we're drinking, but I'll enjoy it. Just on a side note tonight as well, Arbroath are playing Kilmarnock in the top of the table clash in the Championship tonight. So I'd like to say good luck to Arbroath tonight because I think that would be some fairy tale story if Arbroath made the Premiership with Dick Campbell up here. What a character he would be. So good luck to Arbroath tonight.
Yes, I'll echo that. Good luck to Arbroath. Being an Ayrshire man, I should really be back in the Ayrshire team, but no, I don't like Kilmarnock. Yes, I don't like Kilmarnock. I don't like their pies and I don't like their pitch. Scotia, cheers for the night, mate.
Yeah, cheers. The only problem is you've got Lafferty playing for Kelly at the end of the season, and we all know what Lafferty is like at the end of the season. But no, cheers for tonight, Ryan. Really enjoyed it. Really looking forward to next weekend. I'm away to go and check if I can still actually pronounce words rather than stumble through them. So yeah, cheers.
Nice one. And lastly, Mr. Carney, thank you very much, and thanks again for letting me host this, mate.
Not a problem, mate. Well done, mate. Yeah, so I say into tomorrow. Really looking forward to it. See Rangers back. I say hopefully see a bit of a rotation, but always a good laugh. Look, everybody fucking involved in the comments. It's always brilliant when we do so. We generally live for it. It's great to have your wee inputs and making us laugh while we're trying to talk and stuff. It's what it's all about for us. So it's always good. I always look forward to this pod on a Friday night. I generally do a preview pod on a Friday. It's one of my highlights of the week. So yes, well done, Ryan. Thank you, gentlemen. We are the people. Let's go Rangers. 3 points tomorrow.
Always. Thank you, guys. Thanks everyone in the comments. We really enjoyed that. Guys, we'll be back on tomorrow with a reaction podcast, and then we'll be back next week with the pod from the Viceroy and the build up to a huge game against Leipzig. Can't wait. I'm away to shave my oldest son's top lip with a blunt Gillette.
No, use the Manscaped. Use the Manscaped.
Oh.
Mate. Use the Manscaped.
Correction, I am going to shave his top lip with a Manscaped trimmer. Get yourself one, and you can use Club at 22 if you're 20% off and free shipping. Box tick. And I'm going to Fir Park tomorrow as well with my dad, so I can't wait to go to the game tomorrow. Everyone enjoy your weekend. We are Club at 22. Play up the famous.